Hello, my name is Chavela, Riotutar, and I'm researching the effect of quality of life on cardiometabolic risk factors in postmenopausal women. Cardiometabolic disease, quality of life, and menopause are each individually complex and distinct topics. I'm going to begin with a brief overview of each one and then show their connection to each other. Beginning with health, which is not just an absence of disease, it's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being determined by multiple domains. This holistic state of being is referred to as quality of life. Cardiometabolic disease is a major health and economic burden worldwide and is a result of our modern lifestyle. Menopause is a natural phase in a woman's reproductive cycle, and it's marked by hormonal changes that increase her risk for cardiometabolic disease. Cardio, heart, metabolic, metabolism. Metabolic syndrome is a cluster of 5 cardiometabolic abnormalities, and it's diagnosed when at least 3 of these 5 conditions are present. Elevated waistline, elevated blood pressure, elevated fasting glucose, elevated triglycerides, and decreased high-density lipoprotein cholesterol. Dyslipidemia is also considered an indicator for cardiometabolic disease. Our lifestyle puts us at risk. The overconsumption of high-calorie, low-fiber food, compounded by decreased physical activity and increased leisure time. This results in a 40% increase in medical care costs for treatment of the components of metabolic syndrome. Menopause is a natural phase in the reproductive cycle of a woman, and it's controlled by changes in estrogen levels. This graph illustrates the rise in estrogen through puberty, peaking in the early 20s, and then declining as the ovaries get smaller and produce less estrogen. This decline is the transition to menopause, and this is where most women begin to experience physiological symptoms such as hot flashes, sleep disturbance, and irregular cycles until they arrive at menopause without a cycle for 12 months, and postmenopause, which is 1 year since the last menstrual cycle. It's important to note that women spend a considerable amount of time in the postmenopausal phase. Also, that metabolic syndrome indicators emerge with the decline in estrogen. As a woman transitions into menopause, estrogen levels decline and androgen hormones increase, and more body fat is stored in the abdomen. The direct effect of menopause on body fat distribution, insulin action, dyslipidemia, and hypertension increase a woman's risk for development of metabolic syndrome by 60%. This is also the reason why cardiovascular disease is the primary cause of death for women in the United States. 1 in every 5 deaths are due to cardiovascular disease. Quality of life is determined by our personal habits and lifestyle choices, social engagement, how we interact with people or not, our education and how our income meets our needs, our living environment. It could be stressful or it could be positive, and the physical, mental, and social well-being. All of these together are standard for health, comfort, and happiness. That's quality of life. And it's affected by both menopause and metabolic syndrome. Menopause impacts quality of life physically. As women transition, they begin to experience hot flashes and night sweats. These are just a few of the symptoms. There are also sleep disturbances that affect our mental capacity, mood swings, and anxiety about the next hot flash. This affects social and personal performance. Identity is challenged as there is a youthful expectation in spite of aging. Metabolic syndrome also impacts quality of life physically through obesity and disease progression. There's mental anxiety and depression about the condition, less social engagement, accommodations are needed for travel, and increased healthcare needs impact income, which impacts quality of life. The direct connection between quality of life, metabolic syndrome, and menopause has yet to be examined. Therefore, the purpose of this research is to investigate the gap in research between quality of life, cardiometabolic disease, and menopause. This is the flyer that was sent to participants, inviting them to participate in the survey, which was created on Qualtrics. The email was sent to select groups of women who fit the inclusion requirements of being postmenopausal and older than 45. Sampling began in late December and just finished at the end of March. Satisfaction level for quality of life was measured with 20 questions. Here's a sample. How dissatisfied or satisfied are you with the way your income meets your needs? The responses range from 0 to 10, extremely dissatisfied to extremely satisfied, with a total possible score of all questions of 220. We also included questions about health history, looking for metabolic syndrome indicators, physical activity, sexual health, caregiving responsibilities, lifestyle, and changes due to the impacts of sheltering in place and social distancing. The analysis will be a multiple linear regression, looking for the relationship between quality of life scores, metabolic syndrome indicators, and sociodemographic data. The preliminary findings show that the participants were a little satisfied with a mean quality of life score of 125, and their average age was 63 years old. This table illustrates the characteristics that they reported. There was a high percentage of elevated waistline, high percentage of hypertension, high percentage of elevated triglycerides, and type 2 diabetes. I look forward to a more in-depth analysis of this data. Thank you very much.